Yeah. Welcome back once more into the void, episode 4, finale. We're just gonna do this thing. Alrighty. So, one shot to make it right for training montage before the big blowout, or oh well, we'll just see how far we get and then go from there. All right. So, one shot to make it right. Since you suggested, you want to go ahead and read it off, Kevin?
Sure, I can introduce it.
Yeah.
Um, Only one shot to make it right. Well, I mean, I guess just to sort of like get us back into it, the ship was attacked,
Yeah.
boarded. Uh, we lost a bunch of Maxes. I think only Max Prime, our Max is the only one left, at least on the ship. Um, but uh, while that was happening, Mori and the captain were off world solving their own stuff, working through their own business. But now everybody's back together, and I think this is like it. Um, before before once more into the void. Um, so I think yeah, some training to like make sure we all know what our roles are and what's going to happen and what we're supposed to do. That sounds like a good idea. So only one shot to make it right. Will training bring out our best or worst? This is a mini game for all crew members. It's about training to get ready for the final mission while navigating an emotional minefield. Sounds about right. This is everyone's chance to prove they're ready for what comes or that they still have unaddressed feelings that need to be confronted here and now. The captain decides where the training session takes place. Some ideas: an aging hollow room with the ship with a snarky AI, training grounds that are tied to your shared past. An old friend offers their top of the line training program for a steep price. And then everyone will decide how they're training and what circumstances led to the training. I think we know what circumstances led to the training. And then, as usual, each crew member will describe what's changed about them since we last saw them. So, Captain, where is this taking place?
Yeah. I think Captain Tal Kai still has a few connections in his pocket where he has an old friend that has like a kind of like a secret bunker labyrinthian training underground, and offers to let us train there because it's like we're getting our asses whooped, um, and it's getting down to the wire. And yeah, he's not telling the crew what he has to pay for being able to do this, but you know, the old friend is willing to let us uh, you know get this done. So uh, there is all sorts of different facilities here, so we can go one on one, like actually like sparring against each other. We can race, we can do time trials in an obstacle course. My god, Maki is like very judgmental right there in the frame. This is great, I love it. um um so yeah, like take your pick on like whatever whatever training we want to do together or apart, or like against each other. That's fine. Yeah, and that's what we have available to us.
Awesome. So yeah, I imagine like a little like one of those gym playgrounds, but
Yes.
also like I don't know, maybe there's like go kart, like the equivalent of like a go kart
Yeah,
facility
but
or
yeah,
something.
racing, like racing or
Mm-hmm.
time trials or like obstacle courses against each other, or
Love it.
individually. Yep.
So yeah, I think it's fair to say the circumstances that led to the training is our ship got boarded and we got effed up, and we need to make sure we're all back on the ball. And I know what's changed about Harmony. She has new tech, a new chrono stabilizer. I think this one is like sleek, or it looks. I think this one looks more like a harness, like those safety harnesses that you see like construction workers wear. So it's much more like straps, and like the actual tech is a little smaller, whereas her previous one, I think I described it as like one of those retro futuristic like backpacks. There's a sort of like bulkiness to it. Um, this yeah, is much more commando type gear. And like the computer on it is like much smaller, but she still has to wear it. So it's maybe like, Darth Vader's little like chest plate.
Yeah, I think for Mori. Visually, I think after like that device like exploding in her hands and being like pushed through that time loop or like time glitch of her son, um, I think she looks what's interesting here. I think she looks younger in a strange way, in like a very uncanny way where it's like it's just an uncomfortable contrast, I think, to like looking visibly younger, but at the same time looking like her features and her eyes and like everything has gotten like much colder and harder. So it's just like this really strange contrast. And I think she her like I think this wouldn't be visible at first, but I think she herself has started wearing like some sort of not quite the tech that Harmony would be wearing, but like something to keep that time wound that she has under control because I think it's gotten worse after getting hurt again. But I think mostly what the crew would have noticed is yeah, her face looks like off and she just has gotten a lot colder and more withdrawn from the rest of the crew. But I think she's probably like wearing, you know, pretty casual training clothes, things that could be ripped, dirtied, whatever. It's fine.
Whereas I think uh, the captain is actually more suited up than he has been. Um, Before it was just kind of like, whatever was the occasion or what have you. But I think even in training now, I mean, like, he's streamlined his suit so he is in a uniform that is kind of like a jumpsuit for him. So I mean, like, he's not wearing his longer duster at the moment because I mean, like, of course, like, he's got to be like more mobile, and he's got like a sleeveless uh, part of the uniform that is showing off his tattoos, and I don't know whether it's actually been remarked upon before, but I mean, obviously his tattoos tell a story or whatever, but what's different is the fact that somehow the tattoos have shifted. Like before, I mean, like, it was telling a particular story, but ever since they took that trip on the convergence moon or whatever, somehow the tattoos have shifted where it's showing like it's showing where it might have been showing like maybe like different star constellations before. It's showing a different configuration now on one arm, and now it's shifted into a different position, and then on the other arm it's showing a different pattern. So I mean, if they notice, they notice. If they don't notice, it is what it is. But that's what's different. And he just looks more serious now. And he's pointedly not looking at Mori. He's just checking on everybody else, just making sure that everybody's ready to do this thing, to do the training.
I think that what has changed most about Max is the look in his eyes. He's always had a sort of eager expression, like an excitement to take on whatever is next. And his gaze had a sort of mesmerizing quality because of the sense of uncommon empathy that his eyes were able to convey. Like when he looked at you, you felt like you were the most important person in the world and that he cared only for you. But now I think it's mesmerizing because there's like a heaviness that draws you in and weighs you down. And you can see that Max is beginning to believe what the captain and Harmony have been trying to tell him that he can't fix everyone or maybe he can't fix anyone, really, much less himself.
And Tal
So,
Kai will say in all seriousness, it's like, is everyone ready?
if we were ready, we wouldn't be here now, would we?
Well, I mean, there's training, and then there's, and he looks over at his friend uh, uh, Corvus. Corvus would have you think that training was pretty much like the army. You're in it, and you can never leave. And Corvus just kind of like, he's like this big bulky guy with like like that's bald with a serious look on his face. It's like, and barks orders. It's like, and basically says, it's like, yeah, your ass is mine. Is basically his attitude. So yeah.
I think at one point, as we're going to like our first training, uh, whatever our regiment is, whatever Corvus has set up for us, Harmony passes by Max and just like as she passes by, just like gently reaches out to grab his hand and squeeze it as she walks by.
I think he weakly returns the gesture, but his expression is hard. He simply says, Harmony, focus.
I am. See you out in the field. So, uh, beginning with the crew member who has the most to prove, go around the table. So, who do we think has the most to prove here? I have an idea, but I'm curious what everybody else thinks.
I kind of think it's the captain.
That's also what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. On your
So, Tal Kai, look through the challenges and, uh, yeah, pick one.
Oh God.
Also, everybody else, take a look through them. So when it
Holy
gets to your
shit.
turn, you get an idea.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, there's two I want to do, but do I dare? Oh. Sure. Okay. Hmm. I'm just trying to think of like what situation this would be if I pull this one. So I'm thinking as we train, we end up in a compromising position. Our body's too close and our heart's even closer. Do you give in or do you pull away? Why? Hmm. Could be fun. So would this be a sparring thing or would this be a?
Who are you with?
I was thinking Max.
Is Max getting more smooches?
Max could get more smooches. Um, but I'm like I said, I'm trying to think of like, would this be a sparring thing or would this be a pushing thing, like an obstacle course thing? Because I mean, I think as we go out, wherever it is, I think like the captain would be knowing that you're feeling the loss of your other Maxes, like they're part of you because you've never
Mhm.
been without them since I think he's known you. I think. I mean, at least, like when you got the womb and everything. I mean, like he's always seen them around, and then now he will probably look at you like for just before the training starts, and then say, Max, are you up for this?
I think that with the other Maxes, Max has definitely had like physical distance from them before, but they've been omnipresent in that he was always like they're all connected to the same server, right? Like he was always aware of their existence and they sort of shared consciousness in a certain way, in a small way. So it is like having these strange, like almost a sensation of like a phantom limb where it feels like there should be something there and it's just like dead air in Max's mind. Um, I think a side effect of that though is that it does give him more focus. It makes him hyper aware of the danger that the captain and the crew are facing. And I think with a grave expression, he says, I have to be. So I am.
And he slowly nods and says, okay. Well, Corvus tells me this is his best obstacle course, so we have to do this on a time trial, and we have to do this cooperatively. If we don't do it under the time limit, then we fail. So, if you're ready, we go. And basically, we see these moving platforms, like, Corvus like hits the button and everything like this, and then we just see like all these moving platforms. It's like basically the danger room,
Mhm.
for the X-Men. And then like, we start seeing like like, we're kitted out like with flak jackets and armor and whatever, and like maybe like petty laser beams or whatever to block against and take cover. And we have to help each other to get through this. So yeah, um, crawling, jumping, parkouring, and all that kind of stuff. And I think like we end up in a particular position where I think we have to leap off of like one of the moving platforms, and we get pushed against one of the like outcroppings or boulders or something like that. And there's just Corvus decides to be funny about it, and then like starts to pull in like mini explosions. And it's like, fuck, of course he's gonna pull this shit on me now. And then I think we're a little bit too close to each other. But
Is it like we get caught off guard by one of
yeah.
these mini explosions and
Oh
we're
yeah.
like kind of pushed
We roll. Yeah,
by the blast and we
we're
end up
pushed
kind
by
of,
the
yeah.
we're pushed by the blast. We're probably rolling on top of each other at the moment. Like, and like I grab you out of the way to make sure that you're safe, and like I'm either pulling you on top of me or pulling you under me, whichever it ends up being. So yeah, and we're behind like a whole bunch of different um, uh, formations in this room,
Hmm.
in this obstacle room. So
I'm imagining the captain on top.
okay.
Um, and I think there's that moment where, time feels like it's slowed and we're like looking into each other's eyes and um Max almost leans in and it's like it's hard to tell whether it's like lean in for a kiss or lean in to like extricate himself from this like awkward position. Um
I think we're wedged into that corner too, like too close. So it's
mhm.
like it's not like you can go very far either. So
Yeah.
and like he's kind of like yelling partially in your face and in your ear too, even with the the helmets or whatever. It's like, are you okay? Are you hurt? Which, in thinking about it, is kind of like a weird question, because you grow parts, but I mean, even so, I mean, he's gonna be concerned about it.
Yeah, I think Max, presses the button on the helmet to like release the shield so that you
Sure.
can see like his face.
And he does the
Um,
same. Yeah.
it doesn't matter if I'm hurt, Captain.
Yes, it does. It matters a lot.
And I I think Max is very aware of his like heart rate at this moment. It feels strange that it's beating so fast. And some part of him is aware that there was a time when being in such a position with the captain would have been like such a profoundly treasured moment to him. But he realizes that that's not true anymore. And I think he kind of blurts out, Captain, if I told you I connected with Harmony, would you be angry?
No. I mean, that's, that's wonderful. I mean, was it a sincere connection? Was it wait, when you say I mean, as the explosions are going on around us, that bastard. When you say connection, do you mean connected?
Sincerely, and multiple times.
Oh, I'm so very happy for you, Max.
Really, Captain?
Yes, of course. It couldn't have been easy. And as another, like, now he started sending like mini rockets, and it's like, fucker.
It felt quite natural, actually.
Good. I'm glad.
Thank you, Captain.
That's all. That's all. That's important in the universe, Max. Connections. And there's a sad smile on his face when he says that. You sure you're not hurt?
I felt better than I have in days.
We just have to survive this. And he kind of like bunches up a little bit closer to you because, like, there's another mini rocket that comes a little bit too close. God damn you, Corvus. Fuck.
I think Max like kicks at one of the sort of platforms or whatever that's like squeezing us in, and you can hear like the sort of pneumatic hiss of his like knee joint as like, however many 100 pounds of pressure like pushes against the platform. Max is really strong when he
Yeah,
wants to be.
sure.
And he'll like extricate the two of them from this you know, narrow space, so that we can head out again, guns blasting the drones that are flying in between the explosions and all of that.
Right. And then, like, as we're like heading out of that particular corner, it's like, Tal Kai will pick up like one of the one of the platforms and like use it as an improvised shield, and just like, like yell out to his friend. It's like, Corvus, you fuck, you weren't supposed to use those mini rockets. And then, like, we can see the timer like up on the wall, and it's like, there's plenty of time. He was just being a jerk about it. And and I think it's like, you start seeing a smile on the captain's face. It's like, I hope you're feeling good about this, Max. as you're running to get to the finish line.
Yeah, that feels like a good place to leave the scene period.
Okay, cool.
Who wants to go next?
Again, you got racing, you got sparring, you got obstacle courses that may or may not have mini rockets and explosions.
I've got a vignette that I could see working with either the captain or Max.
Okay.
But we just had both of you guys on screen, so Jazy or Mori, do you have an idea which one you want to play with?
Sure. I think it'll be with Harmony because we wanted a Mori Harmony scene, so
Mhm.
let's get that. Um,
I guess actually I could see the one that I'm thinking of with Mori as well. Um yeah, do we just want to do like either the two of them back to back or
yeah.
cool.
If you have one, because I'm not sure which one I
Okay.
want to pick. So
Then yeah, let's just have some fun. Let's see how this works. I crank the simulation routine way past the recommended level of safety and charge right in. Do you force the simulation to stop drawing my anger, or do you go in with me and save me from myself, and why? And what I think Mori sees is a harmony that is in her head. What we the audience I think see is the link between the training and the gauntlet that she fought fighting off the ship's invaders, and like this is whatever the most like direct action training sequence is. This is like enemy fire, live suppression, um just a full on like American gladiators uh sort of situation. And Harmony's whole thing is she's kind of the support character in a video game. She can like give you ammo, she can create cover by pulling out things from different timelines. um but this direct fire is well beyond her capability, and it doesn't stop her. And in fact, she keeps going through, and like there might be one of these like concussion rockets that like smashes up against the wall, and we just see her go skidding across the floor. And when she gets back up, like her eyes are like lined and like bloodshot and red. um and she like grits her teeth angrily and like maybe even pounds a fist against the ground and gets back up and like starts the simulation over again. And it's just like every time it's just she's got to get from point A to point B to point C, and every time she just gets flattened.
yeah, I think Mori sees you do this and you crank it up again. And there is a moment where it looks where my hand hovers, or like Mori's hand hovers over the controls as if she's going to stop it. And then I think instead of doing that, she continues on. And I think it's like that point, the point you always get flattened. And I think like as you maybe like already get ready for the impact, or you're trying to do something new to block it, a shield of like sparkling, like shimmering starlight comes, and it just like pushes the rocket just like slightly to your left, so it like goes whizzing past you, and Mori stands ready, having given you the opportunity, and she just looks at you and gives you a nod as if to say, well, go finish it.
And she does, and we see her like walk up and like smack a buzzer to be like, simulation done, objective complete. And then she comes back. I don't need your help.
Yes, you do. What's so wrong with that?
I wish you hadn't done that. You might not be there for me when we're out there. I need to do this myself. I can't rely on other people. I can't. Last time they tried, they died every single time. And I had to sit there and watch over and over and over again. And I can't do that again. And if you keep bailing me out, then what's going to happen when we go out there?
Then I'll bail you out there too. And she will get very close to you and say, I haven't died yet. Not all of us have. And you don't get to decide who gets to fight because you're scared.
Scared? No, I am not scared. I am angry.
Good. But be angry at the right things. You didn't do this to him. They did.
And if I had been better, they'd.
No. There are things that you cannot defeat no matter how good you are. You alone against an army. You can get flattened by this training simulation until eternity and you still wouldn't be good enough because that is not how it works. The captain does not fly alone. The captain has a crew. And you're part of it. So be part of it.
Whatever. Let's run it again. They're not going to go easy on us.
I don't imagine they will.
She puts her hand and like smashes into the like start simulation again, and she goes back into it.
I think Mori looks upset that you don't want her help and that you've decided to take the entirely wrong lesson from this. And then she knows that she cannot make you not see it. And it makes her feel very helpless that everyone keeps picking the wrong lessons. But I think she also knows that nothing that she's gonna say is gonna make you think differently. So I think she's just there. And every time at that point, she's just there. And maybe if she's there enough, it'll sink in. Maybe.
Seems like a good place to end that one. Who's next? If we go by character keeper order, our strange should be up. Max, do you have an
Sure,
idea?
I do. I think this would be a vignette with Mori though, so
Everyone's had a chance to go, so I think it's all right to.
cool. I think this is kind of after the exchange that Mori has with Harmony. Um, we see that though Max is trying to focus on training, um, and trying especially to block out the new feelings he has for Harmony, he is obviously distracted by Mori and her mood and the fact that they haven't really spoken since that time they spoke about her son. Um, when Mori sees that Max clearly wants to speak with her, but perhaps doesn't have the words, does she try to learn his true feelings, or does she pointedly ignore him? And why?
I think she will try to learn his feelings. I imagine maybe this is like a more like traditional sparring, so we can like sort of be close and have that conversation, unless you had another training exercise in mind. But I
No,
think,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that works. I think sparring with Max is more Max's partner does all the damage. Max is just dodging and like taking the hits, but he doesn't and perhaps can't actually attempt to do physical harm to another person. So it's what I'm imagining is like Mori coming at Max, um, and Max just receiving it as fast as he can.
Mhm. Yeah. I think I think in that case, Mori is like clearly not like trying to do damage or taking advantage. Like she's not lashing out. I think it's a much more trying to give Max opportunities, if not to physically harm her, then to, like train controlling movement so he can um like eliminate opponents that way. But I think she's just like very intently just looking at Max to give him that opportunity. Maybe, there's like a bit of a headlock for a moment. You get her to the ground or she gets you to the ground and she just looks at you like a head tilt, as if to say, well,
Um, I was wondering, Mori, if you kept your promise.
I have. I haven't called again.
And you're okay with them.
She lifts you up, she gives you a hand to pull you up. There's a distance for a moment, launches a fist, says, I will do what I have to. You asked it of me. You made me promise I won't betray you.
Max dodges Mori's fist at the very last moment before it makes contact skin to skin. That was before I understood
Ah,
how it felt, the separation,
I
the
think,
loneliness.
yeah, I think Mori glances at Harmony, who you've been like consistently looking at, and sort of starting to put it together with like Harmony's rant and now you, and she just goes like, ah, I see. I'm sorry, Max. It's gonna hurt. And I think like she says that in a, like action movie style, the fist connects, right?
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
like obviously not what she was talking about.
Yeah, Max takes the fist to his jaw, and we see like the neck, snap to the side. Um, and he slowly turns back to her. And I think he just asks point blank, did you tell the captain? Does he know?
Of my son? Yes. Of that particular call? Well, he doesn't know that I promised not to contact him again. But I showed him. No more secrets.
Good. I'm glad you got to be the one to tell him. As you may know, I must tell the truth, including about secrets that are not mine to tell. And after we had that conversation, I did write a message to the captain, but I believe there was a glitch in the system, and it never reached him. Who's to say why that happened?
I think, yeah, Mori was like, when you said that, there's like a stutter in her movement for such just a moment, but then she will like intercept Max's arm and like do like a throw to control him, lean in close and says, "There's another person who deserves the truth from you, Max." She glances at Harmony. She needs to know it was love and not sacrifice.
Max follows Mori's gaze, watching Harmony as she's, running through the obstacle course or using her time tech. And I think you see conflict again on his face. He doesn't know yet if it was love or whether it was the instinct toward protection of the crew that he's deeply ingrained with. He's still trying to figure that out.
I think once again, Mori, we're going back to these starting positions, and she will kind of from your silence get her like, oh, okay, it's not that clear yet for Max. I think she will just kind of, there's the silence, and then she says, I knew in that last conversation that I would probably never talk to my son again. You don't know if this right here is the only time you're gonna talk to her. Just make it count.
And I think that's probably good.
Yeah.
Maury, you still get to pick one, technically.
I do.
Yeah.
Remember, you also don't have to pick for yourself. It could be for like, I want to see these two people together or whatever, whatever.
Yeah, but I think as much as we set it up, I do kind of want this to be a unresolved thing until the finale, because that feels like a finale thing. Unless Harmony, Elle, or Kevin, you do want to have that scene, then I don't mind.
Go for it, whatever you want. I agree. It would be fun to set it up as a finale thing.
Mm-hmm. It feels to me like, oh, go have your last conversation, but then, it needs to be the last conversation. I was also thinking of doing one with Harmony, because I also kind of want to do the Captain and Mori until the end. If you're okay with that, Kevin, of having to.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in that case, I think maybe this is like another this is like another, I think, like sort of personal sparring. I feel maybe Mori is just like pretty talented in that, or has like sort of been doing that because she's got like personal bodyguard vibes. So maybe she's like basically showing them like if they get close, this is what you do, right? Um, but I think regardless of whether Harmony has calmed down or not, um, I think she's kind of taking it easy on you, Harmony, especially like when she throws you. You can feel every time before you like you're gonna hit the ground, she almost like pulls you up a little so that the plate, the technology that you have, like very gently thuds to the ground. Like it's not like you've seen her do this with Max, you've seen her do this with the captain. There's like very much a like change here when she's doing this with you. Um, and to read the prompt, I pull back during training, scared of what I'm capable of. Do you come in and push me over the edge harshly, or do you leave me be and say nothing? Why? Although I don't really like that second question. I feel like if you want to learn more, that's also fair. But yeah, I think she's throwing you and sort of pulling you so you don't hit too hard.
Why are you holding back? I can take it.
Yes, I know. Get up. We'll go again.
And then we go through the process, and it sounds like she's
Yeah.
going to do it again.
Yeah, I think you notice too, like, she will punch you like full force. She'll basically do everything, but when she throws you to the ground, there's the pulling back.
No, no, there it is again. You don't even know you're doing it, do you? What? And she like taps, taps, taps. Oh, is it? Are you scared of? Here's a question. Does Harmony know that Mori has this like new time wound?
Um, whatever answer you think is more interesting
Ooh.
here. I feel
Um,
like the old one at least probably would have come up between them sometime at some point, given that you would be the person that is probably most knowledgeable about it. The new one, I'll leave up to, I don't know, maybe it interacts with your technology. I don't know, whatever we think is cool.
yeah. You are you holding back because you're afraid of damaging? It can't be. What's going on, Maury? Why are you ginger?
I think she glances away guiltily when you say, "Are you afraid of damaging it?" And then like squaring shoulders says, "I'm not. I'm not holding back. I just You just got it back. I'm not damaging it. It's not worth it for a training exercise."
It's made of tougher stuff than you think. If it couldn't
So am
handle a
I.
couple if it couldn't handle a couple dents and scratches, then I'd be stuck on the ship. What's really going on, Maury? You can tell me. If this is about what I said earlier, then I'm sorry. I was just it's
Yes, you're
still
upset. Everyone's upset.
yeah, that's it's pretty obvious.
Yes, and if we keep taking it out on each other and not on them, we're all
I know. But now it's my turn to ask. What are you scared of? you were so quick to tell me that I was scared that now I'm starting to wonder. Mori, it's okay. You can talk to me.
I'm scared of how jealous I am of you.
What? Why? How? When did this start?
This thing. You're going to belong. You're going to be in this timeline. And if we fix it, that means that you get to stay. And I'm going to watch. It doesn't matter. I just don't want to damage it.
We don't know what exactly is going to happen. That's the whole thing about time. It's uncertain.
Yes, but he won't be here, Harmony.
Who is he? The captain? Captain will still be here.
Yes, and he will still look at you the way he does now. I don't care about that. I truly don't.
The captain and I have never. It's always just been. Well, you know how he is.
I do.
But then who are you afraid of losing?
I think there's just like a long silence while she's just sort of going through the motions. And I think by now, like her heart is like not in these punches and anything anymore, right? Like you're like very easily just kind of deflecting it. I think she just says quietly, "You really don't know."
I don't. You know, of all the people on the ship, I think you and I have probably spoken the least. I always felt like you had the captain near and dear to you, and that was a good and healthy relationship for you both. And I was happy with my little starboard observation deck. Things were nice. For someone not exactly from this timeline, I felt like I could fit in and did fit in. That's the funny thing about it all. I've always been an intruder. So again, I don't really understand how you could be jealous of someone like me. It's it's been really hard after the first fight that we had with the progenitors. And then I had nothing. I didn't have a ship or a crew. I just had to try and find my way in the world. And do you know what I did? I fought for it. Every second, every step, some days. And they were hard and they were painful. And I don't want to go back to that.
I think Mori starts taking off like the training gloves and like starts walking away, but you can like obviously follow her. But she's clearly like, no, I can't be here where other people will see me have a bit of a breakdown. So she's like very much like just kind of like desperately trying to get out of this situation. But do you follow her?
Not only does Harmony follow, I think she actually like grabs her by the forearm and is like, come on. And uh she'll take Mori to the lowest deck of the ship, full on engineering, can't be there without oxygen unless uh unless it's like in atmo, like it is right now, in atmosphere. um and it's like underneath the cargo bay even. And she says, when she takes her there, and the reason that like it's Harmony's like favorite secret spot is because it just usually has a really good view, without being like from the observation deck. It's underneath the ship. um this is where I would always go when, and well, whenever we're in atmosphere and I'm not on the away crew, and I just wanted a place to sometimes come and sit and think. Has really good acoustics, actually.
My son,
What?
you asked me who he was. My
You
son.
have... My God, Mori, I never knew.
No, because in this timeline, he doesn't exist.
I see.
And you say you fought for every step of the way. You know what I did, Harmony? I ran. I stayed by Tal's side and I told myself that it was duty, that I was the only one capable and empathic enough to stay, but that's bullshit. I just couldn't face my own son. And the longer I stayed by Tal's side, the more I started realizing what a fucking coward I am. So I told myself that maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was the only one who understood the grand task ahead of us. Maybe I was the only one who understood what we were doing. And if that was true, well, then nobody could blame me for leaving, right? Then I'd be selfless and truthful and good. And she will like pound like the window and says, but I'm just a fucking coward. And it doesn't even matter because fucking look at us. Look at all of us. We can't even work together. We can't even talk to each other. We're all going to die out there. We're going to let all of us get killed and die, and it's going to be for nothing.
I don't... I understand now why you be careful around this technology. Someone close to you might need it someday. But if we do this, there won't be a need for it anymore. There won't be progenitors. There won't be alternate timelines. There will just be us here now. And you know what? If we have to die for it, hell, I'll tell you one secret I know about time. It happens to everyone. It's the one thing we all have in common. But I don't think anyone could call you or anyone on this crew a coward. There are countless civilized worlds out there now, all with their own populations and petty struggles, and we're the ones that are here. We're doing it. They're not. She puts a hand on Mori's shoulder. no one can call you a coward.
I think Mori reaches out and touches the technology on your chest and says, "Someone close to me already has it, Harmony. So just take care of it."
Well, the good news is I don't think I'll need it much longer.
Let's hope so.
I think Harmony goes in for a hug.
I think at first Mori won't, like, she won't pull away, but she won't respond. And you can feel her sort of shake with, like, all suppressed adrenaline and emotion and, like, all of that coiled very tight. But I think after a moment, you feel her arms wrap around you as they hug you back.
Is that it? Once more into the void.
Wait,
Oh,
who?
yeah, we got.
Crew member who impressed everyone chooses an ending to the training session first. That's on page 33.
Who impressed everyone?
Harmony. That's my
What?
vote.
I was gonna say Max.
Okay.
I don't think throwing yourself into danger without caution is impressive. I think that's self-destructive.
Yeah, I don't think Harmony did anything terribly. Getting her ass kicked is not terribly impressive. Um,
So I'm choosing an ending.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you think somebody else impressed more, but I'm game to say either Max or Mori.
Yeah, I think if we're voting, I would probably vote for Mori, but I'm not sure
Really now.
that's
Really now.
Ending first, then loyalty draw.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I
Yeah,
I
but
think
we're voting
actually,
for who does the ending.
yeah, I think Mori, because she, like, she bounced rockets. She, like, uh she was able to, like, kick people's asses and then also, like, be really gentle with them.
I
I
mean,
think
if
it,
I'm going by stars, I mean basically like Mori dropped all the great advice, so
yeah,
I'm gonna go with Mori.
Mori.
Sure.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Mori was the only one to like confront how bad a state the crew is in. And I think
True.
somebody needed to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm. Okay, sure. Well, in that case, I think we train hard and get much better. Um,
You revealed a vulnerability to the enemy.
yeah, we train well, almost too well, at least. Yeah, you know what? Why not? We need to forgive each other some shit. We train well, almost too well. At least one of us will learn to forgive someone. At least one of us will learn to forgive someone for the unforgivable. That's not really a question, but I feel like Max and Mori sort of already got there in their scene.
Okay.
But I don't know what we feel is forgiving the unforgivable.
I mean, maybe it's a bit of a lenient stretch, but if we're gonna go with that ending, then I feel like I don't know how I would convey this, but something Harmony looks or says or does towards Max, if we train really well, then maybe actually what we see is like a little montage of Harmony and Mori like running that treasure or that training course again. And this time Harmony like accepts Mori's help, and they do really well. And the long and short of it is sooner or later Harmony forgives herself for letting a bunch of Maxes die. That felt pretty unforgivable.
I think that works. I like that a lot.
You know,
So, loyalty draws.
I think so. Oh wait, I think Mads is frozen. At first, I thought she was just kind of like enjoying enjoying the conversation, taking it in.
But yeah, I think you're right.
Oh
There she
yeah,
goes.
yeah, there she is. All right. I will pause. It looks like I have new hosts, so I will pause the recording.
All right, so we're doing this thing once more into the void. We completely missed the complete and
Oh,
utter failing of our one brain
loyalty
cell.
draws.
Oh yes, okay, so
Yes,
we got to go
before
back
we
to.
get
Okay, all right.
yes.
So I don't even know where we were. 33, right? So 33, 32. Loyalty
I'm gonna
draws.
jinx it, but I really want one more red card.
Stop
I have a
it.
cool idea.
Stop it. Stop it.
Just
Okay,
one,
black.
just one tiny red card.
All right. Loyalties regained. Crew member keeps the card. Briefly describe what this regained loyalty looks like.
Oh no.
Do I need to give cards to people?
Oh, we just have 3 red cards. It's fine. It's all good.
Oh, God.
So let's do the black one first and then all the red ones?
Sure, okay, I guess it's the captain. Well, I mean, yeah, so according to my brickhead, yeah, I mean, on the surface, people trained well. We look like we're prepared. Corvus seems to be satisfied. Corvus will take it out of Tal Kai's hide later, in their own way. And yeah, I mean, in spotting some of the different things, and then hearing Max's confession that he got close with Harmony and such. She's like he's feeling cheered about that, and seeing that at least Mori and Harmony are getting along. I mean, he's hopeful. Yeah. So I mean, he knows he'll never get that delusion of closeness with Mori again, but I mean, at least if they can just make it this one last time with this last mission, then, we'll see. And if she chooses to stay, great. And if she doesn't, then that's her choice. He is, of course, selfishly hoping that she'll maybe hang for old time's sake, but he's not holding out extra hope for it. And he'll just deal. And yeah, he's looking at his arm, and then seeing the tattoos shift again. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Red card.
I want to go last if possible, so I don't know if you have something else.
Yeah, I think after the exertion of that training session, Max sleeps again, and the dream of a renewed Lumina resurfaces, seeps into his artificial synapses, becomes indelible, and it enters his circuitry, like an unstoppable and intrusive thought that it could be real again. It's so close that Harmony can't be there. The captain can't be there. Mori can't be there. Only Max has a place. And the crew, with their declarations of friendship, loyalty, they want to take it from him. And he'll have to make a choice. The uncertain promises that the crew offers versus the future progenitors made him for. Where does his loyalty really lie?
I'll go since Kevin isn't back yet. I think we see that one like progenitor that like zooped away with the new tag. Let's quickly name him. Let's name him Soren. We see him, he's like holding something that seems like a mix between like technology and a syringe, and it's sort of like glowing in this strange way. And we see in the shadows in this weird like big contraption, we see Avi sitting there. He's shirtless, and we see that he has like all of these like tubes connected to him, and he's sitting there with his palms up, and we see that all over his body he has these time wounds, these ruptures on his skin from all the time that he has been spending between these two timelines. And Soren says, "Captain, are you certain? There's no way back." And Avia looks at him, his eyes full of determination and steely cold hatred, and he says, "Do it." The Soren pushes this needle into his veins, flips a switch on the machine, and we just like we kind of pan through the shadows as we hear like the squelching of flesh and the rearranging of bone, and Avi just screaming in agony as he is transformed by this new technology.
Somewhere, actually, probably back at this planet, Horus 4, uh, in the lower orbit of this planet, we start to see a group of stars against the backdrop begin to sort of shiver and ripple. And then we see a sort of faint outline of spacefaring vessels, make and model we've never seen before. But as they sort of coalesce into view, they sort of glitch in the way that Harmony had been glitching through time. But they solidify and calcify, and it's these breathtakingly gorgeous white ivory and gilded, they almost look like works of art. These three warships, the progenitors' advanced or most advanced ships of the fleet, and they hover there in orbit over the tower, the Luminon Tower that came into Horus 4.
Well, crap. Okay. Last game. Last time pays for all. Once more, into the void. Is this our triumph or our downfall? Once more into the void is a minigame for all crew members about the final mission to face the enemy. This is the climax of the game, and failure, betrayal, and death beckon you closer. This is everyone's one shot to be the big damn heroes. It will take loyalty and luck to see you through. Make sure everyone is ready to conclude this story and game together. This is the last game, and everyone plays. Before playing this minigame, every player draws one last card for the loyalty draw. As always, each card is drawn face up. Come on. Boop. Okay. Okay. Did everybody draw a card?
Elle is throwing one.
Okay. Well, as usual.
Never mind.
Black.
Can we still give our cards away?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the crew member, if you give your card to another player, the other player briefly describes a moment of closeness between you. Yep. If you keep the card, then you describe what this regained loyalty looks like. Change relationship, a new belief, a growing hope, etc. And if you have red, the enemy grows stronger. You describe how.
Yeah. I'm gonna give my card to Max.
Okay.
I really want to die, guys. I don't want to. I'm setting myself up here.
Oh my god.
Y'all need to survive. Don't anybody fucking sacrifice themselves for me. Yeah, Max, you get to. No, who's giving me a card? I'll fight you. I'll do it. That actually would be very funny. Yeah, I'll give my card to Max.
Give mine to Mori.
Sorry. Okay, so
Yeah, a brief moment of closeness, right?
yes.
I think at some point during the preparations, Max will approach Mori and say, no matter what happens, I think you were or would have been a good mother to him. I know I don't have one myself, so maybe that doesn't mean much. But I wanted to say that.
I think Mori would have just smiled and thanked Max. And I think that would have been it. For the Mori harmony scene, I think this is after whenever this is. But I think Mori and Harmony are in Mori's room or like a private place. And I think we just see that Mori showed you that time wound. And I think you can see that it has spread and it is glitching and painful. And it's not even in the way where you have something to control it because it's not like completely taking her over. It's just sort of bleeding into her and out of her at the same time. But I think she shows you that, and she will tell you why it's gotten so bad. And I think that's it. We don't see how that ends, but she probably would have just simply let you see that, and that's it.
And I think Captain gives Harmony the black card.
Oh. All right. Moment of closeness between them. I think the captain can find Harmony on her starboard observation deck. staring out into the void. And when the door opens, Harmony had been humming something to herself, little old lullaby or something along those lines. And she stops when the captain enters. And she looks back over her shoulder and says, "You know, I'm glad you remembered. I told you if I was left too long to hear my own voice, I'd probably go mad. And
I don't know why. It's pretty.
it is best seat in the house." And I think she stands up and we see her like give a little kiss on the corner of Captain Tal Kai's lips. "We're going to make it through, Captain. I believe in us. I can't really see the future."
You said something different once. So, excuse me if I don't quite believe you. And he says it with that smile of his that hides what he's thinking.
Futures aren't seen, they're created.
We've been creating our future this whole time. Let's make it count. Okay, so now I get to show off all the enemy cards so far. Yippee skippy. Yay. They look like shit. Okay.
Us have some high cards. I believe in us.
Yeah.
I believe we can do this. See, look at that.
Oh my
ace.
God,
Don't,
stop.
Don't
Stop.
look at that 9. Don't even think about it. Look at that ace. Look at that 4. It's fine.
Look at the little ones. Look at the little ones.
Shh,
Look at the little
aces.
ones.
Look
They
at the
don't-
aces.
Stop.
Look at the little
It's fine.
babies. Look at the little babies. It's okay.
Listen,
It's okay.
It's gonna be divided by 4. It's gonna be so fine. It's gonna be so incredibly
It's
fine.
all right. It's
We're
okay. Okay, what am I doing?
Wrecked.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's gonna be so fine.
God dang it. Unfortunately,
Don't
it's
even
like
worry about it.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
even worry about it.
Right. Exactly. We don't care. It's all right. It's fine. It's all
Totally fine.
good.
Look at that 4. Oh, that was a 3. That didn't count. That was a 4. That was a just
Fucking
a
A.
4.
God damn.
You can do this. I believe in you so much.
I can believe in everything. It's fine. I believe in rainbows and unicorns. Okay. I saw Death
Oh,
of a
look at
Unicorn,
that.
by the
It's
way. It's
only
cool.
a 5. It's only a 5.
All right. Okay.
It's all good.
Okay. Face down. All right. Playing this minigame, the captain declares the circumstances of the final mission. Okay. I think you pretty much described it, like what was coming out. I mean, like, you know, the ships that were coming out like more crystal clear. Ancient ship emerges from deep space. Crew must infiltrate the ship and disrupt the enemy's plans. So I think this is like, you know, the last push to fight for their timeline, and we have to stop them. So yeah. Avi went Super Saiyan, got evil spaceships. Yeah, exactly. Okay, each crew member describes what has changed about them since we last saw them. This may be the last time we see you. What hasn't changed about you throughout this story? Oh, brother. So, yeah. This is it. This is the big one. So, yeah, I think, for Captain, just a lot more serious now. And again, like the tattoos have changed. So the constellations slash patterns on his arms have shifted. So that means only he's figuring it out. And, he's got his hair tied back, probably even braided. And he's wearing a newer, neater, probably more battle ready version of his duster coat without the sleeves. And he's got his weapons tucked underneath where he needs them. What hasn't changed? Probably still a little bit selfish. A little to a lot selfish. Yeah. And just knowing he's just gonna ask the crew for their all one last time. And then seeing what happens from there. So, yep.
As for Harmony, I think we see her in whatever passes for her bathroom. She might, actually use communal showers like the rest of the crew, but she's got a small mirror that she's able to look into. But I've described that her technology are these gloves, these giant power gloves, and that's how she pulls things in and out of different timelines. But underneath them, of course, is her wrists. And I think what we see is that there's a big difference between fresh scars and old scars that have actually had some time to heal. And I think when we look down and we look at her wrists, we see that the the skin is it looks new. You can barely even see any of these old lines that were once red and angry. And we see Harmony sort of reflect on this a little bit and look at herself in the mirror. She still has those technology lines running through her subdermal layers. Every now and then they sort of pulse with this color, and we sort of see her shift a little bit, sort of after image, and she sort of adjusts the straps on her stabilizer, and then she puts the gloves on, and she goes out to the deck.
I think Mori, as always, is by the captain's side. She is wearing again like this, like this battle get up with the like the letters and the fabrics and like a very, like Mass Effect spacesuit style. Um, but I think now there is like a not like quite see-through, but you can see the time wound on her chest. And it has like it's still like spreading, and by now I think it's sort of giving this, even under her clothes, it's like giving this like shimmery like quicksilver kind of effect. um but I think her eyes are steely and determined. She is going to keep this crew together no matter the fucking cost. And I think that is what hasn't changed about her. I think she has loved this crew since it was first put together, and she loved it when they were all in their own separate places. I think despite her fights, I think she fought so much with them because she believed them to be capable of so much better, and it frustrated her when they refused to see that. And it frustrated her when they chose to see the worst in her. But I think that trust, that when it really comes down to it, in this moment, she hasn't ever lost that, and she doesn't lose it now.
I think that in contending with the intrusive thoughts of loyalty and betrayal implanted in him by the progenitors, Max has tried to dig out his serial number since we last saw him. I think the only hint of that we see as he stands by the captain's side is a little blotch of dark blood on his uniform. But if we were to see the skin underneath, it would of course be pristine and fully, completely healed and smooth. But I think the thing that has not changed about him throughout all of this is his willingness to sacrifice to protect the rest of the crew. Not because he doesn't matter, but because they do. Yeah.
Beginning the final mission. You are a crew, and you face the enemy together. The captain takes the enemy cards, deals them equally out to all the crew members, including themselves face down. Captain keeps any remaining cards. On each turn, the captain chooses who faces the enemy. Yippee effin' skippy. So, pardon me as I do this tedious job. While I'm doing this, it's like if you want to go to the next pages and then start looking at the challenges, because on your turn you will be asked to choose a challenge and answer the question.
I don't know if you want an easier way of doing this, Mads, but you can just cut the stack and then cut the resulting stacks by clicking on the little gray tab. It'll cut them in even
Okay.
numbers. I mean, if you're finding this therapeutic, then please.
I don't even know
By all
anymore.
means.
I don't know. Did I pull out extra cards? Because it's like I'm seeing tabs on some of these things, and it's just like, because it's like I should be having the extra cards. I mean,
No, it's fine. Mori and Captain have 6 each.
Okay, just making sure.
And yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome.
Unless the whole point is like it's supposed to be 5, 5, 5, and the captain would then have
I
7.
would have 7. Yeah.
Okay, then take 1 from. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. Oh, fuck. I gotta pick a. All right. I gotta pick who goes first. Fuck. Mori. You would go first.
I go first. Okay. So I pick the challenge first and then the cards, or?
Well, let's see. You would reveal. Let me see. Oh, okay. So yeah, choose a challenge first to face and answer the question. And then you would take the enemy hand you were dealt, reveal it, and then determine the challenge number.
Okay. I mean, yeah, given that it's the start, I will go with the enemy outnumber us. We are outmatched and outgunned. Why are we unprepared? I
Okay.
think it's just the sheer I think it's just that scene, right? Like it's our ship and it's just us because we haven't really made any allies over the course of this game. So it's 4 people against a fucking army. Um, and their technology is better. They have presumably maybe given other soldiers this. Yeah, I think we're just completely outmatched. Let me see the cards.
Yep.
I have to do math at 4 a.m.
I already know that you have 34, so.
You go back here, right here. And this is 20, 27, 28, 29. But I
Wait.
want to die, so.
Wait, so hold on.
If I match, I
20,
match.
27, 31, 32. You survive.
No, I match. If I match the challenge
You
number,
match.
what brilliant tactic do I reveal and save us all?
Okay.
I think, yeah, it's just like, it's kind of like we get the spaceship fight, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
that's how it starts. And very quickly, I think the comm like starts to crackle and AV's voice comes through and he says, "We don't have to do this. I just want to speak to my mother." And I think maybe there's like a bit of a moment where Mori will go for the comm. If Mori will go to answer Tal Kai, will you let her or will you try to stop her? This is
No, I
like
mean, if she
just the
wants.
comms for now. Yeah.
Yeah, if she wants to answer, she can go ahead and answer for sure.
She will answer and she will say, "Ceasefire then. I'll come to you. Let me speak with you." And I think, we do sort of the teleport from one ship to another. I think like right before she goes, she looks at all of you and she says, "It's been an honor to serve with you. Be ready for my signal." And without revealing what that signal is, she beams away. On the other ship, this is like a huge spaceship. She looks at AV and we see that he's like all over his skin. This time is like glitching and it's making him more powerful, but it also looks like horrifying. And she just looks at him and he finally looks at her. And there's just sympathy in her eyes. And she says, "I'm sorry. It didn't have to come to this." And he smiles, thinking, we can, one last push, Mother. Once our timeline, there's technology now. You could stay with me. You could have what we want. Family. And Mori smiles at him. And she opens her arms and we see the glint of those two bracelets. She opens her arms to give him a hug. And Mori's problem has always been that she believed that love didn't need to be said, because if you felt it, now what words did you need? And if you needed words to express it, then how true was your love? And she has hated Avi because he made her feel bad about loving the crew. And she has hated the crew for making her feel bad about loving Avi. But now her son is in her arms. She presses the bracelets together. We feel a pulse of power. She leans back, says, "I love you." The ship and all like a dozen ships near it go in this giant explosion. The signal has been given.
Harmony.
Well, that's not great for you all.
Why is
I
that?
have because I have all the low cards.
Wait, what do you mean? So, I mean, you have 37. So,
I have 37. My enemy cards are two aces, a 2, 3, and 4.
yeah, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Aces
Right,
equal
which
1.
means all the high cards are someplace else.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
gotcha. So,
Um, so, um, I was going to. Which one was I looking at? I probably should have decided that before drawing. But or before like doing the hand.
that's
But
that's
nah.
actually the order. Yeah, it's fine.
Um, I was. Ugh. I was definitely thinking of something like, we must take a dangerous path behind enemy lines to secure a tenuous route to victory. But describing this as more like a fleet of ships. Um, yeah, uh, I still think that makes a certain kind of sense. I think we have to do, yeah, I'll just go ahead and take the fiction. I think with the majority of the ships now sort of supernovaed, there's still either like a big flagship or those three ships that I described earlier. Um, and we have to uh, get aboard one of them. Like Mori took care of the ship with AV. And maybe that was actually like one of those three flagships. So now we've got another one, but we don't have a Mori for every ship. So how do I shield us all from the worst of it? I think as like the fighting commences, I think what Harmony does is she builds into the ship something that she did during the boarding action. Is she essentially transplants parts of the ship with a version of it that had been destroyed, and we sort of do a pretend to be space junk, and we just sort of drift. Um, we drift by one of these other big flagships, just a floating piece of debris so far as they're concerned at this point. And as they get close and they scan it and they look for life signs, they just see these dead crew members. And then everything seems like it's when they lower their defenses and when they lower their guard, Harmony collapses that false reality or those alternate realities, and the ship just unloads a full bore into the side of this second dreadnought, punches through its armor, hits the reactor core, and it becomes a blue star in front of all of us for a few seconds. There's still one ship left.
I suppose it's my turn to reveal my cards.
do you want to pick a challenge first?
Oh,
Yeah, don't do like
yes.
I did.
I do want to pick a challenge first. Harmony, is it okay if Max was with you while you executed that gambit?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Then the challenge I will choose is the only way past this horror is if I confess a dark secret to you. What do I confess to? I think that Max has been helping throughout this battle, using the processing power that was freed by the deaths of his other selves. He's using the link that the progenitors opened up to compromise Max and our ship systems to sort of sabotage theirs. Um, and as he's been doing that, we see that he's getting like more and more ground down, like almost the way that like your iPhone starts getting sluggish when it's low battery. It's that kind of thing. And I think watching this ship explode in front of their eyes and this almost beautiful like burst of blue and debris, um, Max looks exhausted as he turns to Harmony and says, I I don't think I can do anymore. They're inside me. They want me to stop you even now. And his hand is kind of reaching upward, sort of poised as though he would like strangle her. And he clearly doesn't want to be doing this, but it's happening. They want me to turn against you. When we connected in the infirmary, it was happening even then, but I know I should have left. I just wanted to know what it felt like, what you felt like. I was selfish. And yeah, I suppose I will draw or I'll reveal my cards. Nope, nope, that went into my hand. All right, math 13, 17, 24, 32. Not looking good for your boy. And I think I have a 26 in my hand. So I failed by 6 or more.
Is that correct?
That is what it looks like to me.
Did I do the math properly? I think I did, but
I can't help you with math right now. I believe in you.
All right. My pen is downstairs, of course. 8, 16.
I already know which choice I'm going to make in the I failed by 6 or more here, but I do want to know how Harmony
struggling.
responds.
Oh, Mads, you're muted.
Yeah, so it's 32, like they're 32 versus your 25.
Oh, 25. That's even worse than I thought then. Yeah.
Yeah, so fail by 6 or more. Max. Damn it.
So when you fail by 6 or more,
Yeah. I already know what's gonna happen. I do want to have a last moment with Harmony though, so if you have a response for Max.
man, I'm floored right now. Because yeah, you know what's gonna happen. And I think Harmony's response when she sees Max, like whatever is the last little fleeting thought that he has, Harmony goes back to her close quarters training with Mori And I think we actually do see them sort of duel it out a little bit. And it might even be like a 0G fight, trading punches. And it gets really bad when Max gets a grasp on one of her gloves and squeezes. And we just watch that technology just crumple under Max's hands. The same like wrist that he had traced over her scars. Harmony screams. And then with her other hand, she undoes her stabilizer. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how exactly to translate this into a heroic sacrifice. Other than
Well,
Yeah,
because if
it's
you do it, if your crew member fails the challenge by 6 or more, anyone can choose to sacrifice their character to save the crew member. When this happens, narrate the nature of your sacrifice. The failure is turned into a match.
I think you can only do that if you have cards.
no, because it says if the crew member who sacrificed themselves did not face a challenge, then that crew member's enemy cards are discarded. So you can
So
do
you
it
can
after
always,
you've gone.
yeah. So
yeah, I agree that the fact
yeah,
that clause exists means that you can do it either
and
way.
Um,
just for
Yeah.
the fact that you're doing it like, you know, pretty much like in tandem, then it kind of works out. But it still breaks my heart. Fuck.
then I
Well,
think
okay,
It
hold
still
on.
counts as it still counts as a match though. It still counts as a
Mhm.
match.
Yeah.
So basically, like Harmony initially matched, and then if
Mhm.
if Harmony is still going to continue on with this ultimate sacrifice, then she's turning Max's failure into a match.
That is correct. That's
Yeah,
the ultimate, that's the gamification intent.
yeah.
Yes. Um, but Elle, it sounded like you had a thought.
Um, I think I just don't think that Max would let Harmony sacrifice herself for him. Um, I think that we see him like grasping her wrist, and it's like, too tight of a grip, and he's trying his best not to um crush the stabilizer, or more importantly, crush Harmony, but it's getting harder and harder for him to control himself. I think his eyes are beginning to glow this like kind of internal, like almost like infrared, um, as he like battles with himself. And he says, I died for you 5 times. What's one more?
Harmony is like breathing rapidly at this point because pain, adrenaline flooding through her. And like as they sort of drift in 0G, um, she reaches into her with her still good hand. She manages to like take the glove off, sort of like shake out her hand, and she puts her hand on Max's cheek, smiles at him, and she says, "You can watch it once." She punches into her own chronostabilizer, pulls out the little gem that's powering it, and I don't know where Max has a port that it would fit or resonate with. Actually, it might be where he had taken out his barcode,
Mm-hmm.
his serial number, and she pushes the little core of her chrono stabilizer into his core. And the moment that she does so, she just fully desyncs and just dissolves into a glitchy void. And the last thing that we kind of hear going into the darkness is this sort of like de-resed harmony, which ironically, when you de-res a voice like that, sort of harmonizes with itself. And she says, "You're a human now, Max."
A million emotions flood into Max all at once saying this because he can watch someone be taken apart and put together a million times. He can do it to himself, even. He can calculate exactly how long it would take someone to succumb to a deadly wound. But what he sees happen to Harmony in this moment, he's not prepared for. And I think even in this moment, he understands that he's never going to move past this. He's going to be stuck in this moment in time forever.
Come on, Captain, you got this.
We are confronted by something unreal, horrifying, and larger than life. In that last ship. How is this monstrosity my fault? He did say he was partially human. And those changing tattoos are a connection to what that thing is. It wasn't just a placeholder. He wasn't just made to be part of their prophecy as a joke, as a parody or anything like that. They took a part of him and added it to their timeline. So what they have in that last ship is something tied to a gate, tied to this archetype of the captain, not even Tal Kai. It is this thing that is running the ship and a stretched out expansion of consciousness that is partially a timeline, partially a hologram, and partially an essence of something that was taken from him in the last conflict. And he confronts it, and he realizes it was part of his pride that created it. Because I think he had sent you all off saying, no, he's got this. He can set the charges. He can make sure that he lays the obstacles for them not to follow. You just have to get on the ship, and then he'll find a way back. And they had him for a time. Not enough to notice, but enough time to take what they needed to make their plans for the future, this present. And so he's facing it now, and we'll see what this looks like. 12. do math. 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 34, 41. And I already calculated mine. I think I am at 39. This is great. If I fail by 5 or less, why do I hesitate at a crucial moment? Yeah. I think this thing actually calls out to him, even though it's alien, even though it's something that is beyond concept. I think it actually calls out to him and speaks a little bit with his voice, a little bit of a voice of some kind of harmonics, some kind of generative electronics. It just says for Tal Kai to join. Be one again with the collective time, with the collective timeline. Be part of something bigger. Be part and whole again. And that's enough for Tal Kai to hesitate. And I think that's where they get him. And that's as a fail. Okay.
That means that we matched 2, had 1 sacrifice, and had 1 failed. So we pick an ending from the if you matched most of the challenges.
Yep. We won, but we know we couldn't. Well, oh god. There's... Oh. Like neither one actually works. I don't think either one of these work. I mean, like we could twist it around a little bit to make one of them work, I guess. But
To me, it seems like the second one can work.
okay.
I mean, I think it's very literally true that we couldn't have done it
No, definitely not. I
without
mean,
each other.
yeah, exactly. I mean, damn it. Could not have
In the saddest way possible.
in the saddest way possible, for sure. Oh man. And you can't grow any closer than frickin' Max being human through harmony sacrifice. God damn it.
I think in that case for the epilogue, I'll do mine, sort of flashing back to that moment where she was embracing AB. I think we see as sort of, like the pulse of power is starting to build as that energy is getting ready to explode. I think she thinks of Harmony, hands on her shoulder, telling them that she's not a coward. All these, just like a little vignette of all these very quiet moments that they had, watching the stars together, sharing space coffee or whatever the equivalent is that we have. Maybe even playing like very late, playing a little game. I think we see memories of Max. All the times Max has patched Mori up after a fight, even probably helping with that time wound, even when back then they hadn't quite made up yet. She thinks of that message that never made it to the captain against all of Max's programming, and how even then Max didn't believe he was human, when a white life for your friends is about the most human thing you can do. I think she does think in her final moments of Tal, and those years spent in that blissful domesticity, the starflies crowding around her hands and her pretending that she doesn't know he was watching her. She's always pretended like she didn't know, that it was all just natural. I think we see Avi has looked back at her, realizing what she's gonna do, and I think he smiles too, almost at peace that it's over, that it's no longer a fight, that at least he dies with his family. I think we see that image of the starflies going off into a starry night, and then everything explodes into a white light.
I think that little piece of technology that was the core to Harmony's new stabilizer. Um, Ironically, it's called the heart of the technology, as in it cannot function without a heart. And what it might take a second to realize for Max or anyone who hears the story and posterity is when Harmony said that you're human now, well, it's because Max now has a heart and it's Harmony's.
I think we got a glimpse of Max once again, just splayed open and vulnerable as he places that heart gently, lovingly inside his own chest. That little piece of harmony that he can now carry everywhere. And though the rogue programming that the progenitors installed in him sort of uh, corrupts and dissipates after they're defeated, he does continue to sleep and he does continue to dream. And every night he sees Harmony's face and hears her voice and imagines their hearts beating in sync. And I think the very last glimpse of Max that we have is perhaps um, maybe the captain is going to give a speech or make some kind of appearance after all of this. And Max is by the captain's side, the hand on his shoulder. And he says to the captain, "You're still a hero." And I understand more now what that really means. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to give them a future to live for. You did that for me. You can do it for them.
He does the usual, the usual official things. Once he manages to extricate himself just barely from that remaining ship and detonate their systems like he intended on doing. He knows that they don't need the tech anymore, but I think he makes an effort to try and understand at least a little bit about what they do, to see if there's any way to find better uses for them in this new world. Stabilizers for health, for mobility. And he tries to find a way to cultivate the starflies wherever he ends up residing, because he can't go back to that planet. That was where she was. And he accepts his commendations or whatever official business needs to be had, but it's not important to him anymore. In fact, he retires his commission as soon as he's able to. And if Max is willing to come with him and let him be Tal Kai, then he'll find a place where he can try to do something else, anything else, and not be the captain. At least not except as a memory, and at least keep their memory alive for what they did for this world and the timeline. And maybe he'll sit Max down and say, just need to remember what they did for us. Some of the fun stories. I remember this one thing Mori used to do all the time. Before I came home, she would get set up with these starflies, and he would kind of coax one to him as an example and say she looked so beautiful holding them. And then he would tell a story to Max, if Max would listen. And then tell a story about fighting with Harmony and how good that was, because Harmony always had his six. And that way, they would always be remembered. Keeping connections.
Most important thing.
The most important thing. That is absolutely correct, Max. And I wish they were here. But I'm glad you are. You don't have to be. If you wanted to go back to the fleet, if you wanted to take another commission, I mean, you don't have to be with a retired captain like me.
Captain. With Mori and Harmony gone, you are my only friend. There's nowhere else I want to be.
And if he hasn't already, then he probably will, make sure he's sitting next to you, and then probably like put his arm around you, and then just kind of lean his head against yours. If that's okay.
He takes your hand and places it on his chest so that you can feel Harmony's heartbeat there too.
I think he just starts to. He stays silent, but I think he just starts to cry. Thank you. And we can end there. That is our playthrough of Once More Into the Void. As always, my heart is ripped out of my chest. Stars. I wrote some down. As always. Well, can I read my handwriting? That's the other question. Harmony calling back to the watching the Maxes die, and Mori dropping all of the great advice, like be angry at the right things, and the scene of Harmony wishing that she had been better, but then of course Mori saying it's like you could have been best in the all the different ways, and people still have died. And yeah, just and Max again, just the reactions of admitting to the captain. It's like I was with Mori, I was with Harmony, and realizing that was okay, but then also processing grief, but then the progenitors using that vulnerability to weave their way in, and then coming down to the wire of going against Harmony, but then also trying to fight that programming, and then the little white lie that made Max more human. I mean, stars all around, because these characters were just off the chain again, and I love them all. I'm done.
Yeah, I can go. Yeah, stars. I thought this was great. I think it's very funny that this game like reads pretty pulpy, but it like ends into misery simulator every single time I play it. It's so funny. In a good way. I love that we were all just dedicated and committed to making this a tragic. I'm so innocent. I'm being very rightfully called out. um no, yeah, I thought everybody's characters was great. I thought this whole series was great. I loved the progression from everyone and like how we kept on building on the scenes. I love that we did get like some more Harmony Mori. I thought that was really fun, and I thought that was very sweet with Harmony trying to it was like nice to see someone try to comfort Mori and actually being successful at it. That was really great. I love the lines. Futures aren't seen, they're created. Just I think a little while ago, people were like, "What do you like about games?" And I typed something like, Sometimes all y'all will just drop like HBO level one-liners, just like that." And that was one of them. Like, fuck you, HBO can do better. That was great. I love that. Elle, honestly, same star for you. Like that moment with Max. Like, oh, that conversation with like, "I've died for you 5 times. What's one more? You can watch it once." Like, they pay people for that, and we do it for free. um, no, that was great. And then immediately sort of going with that narration of Max knows that he will never grow past it. Like, this is the moment that makes him human and also, will forever traumatize him. I thought that was fantastic. Mads, I really liked the captain coming into his own. I love the ending that you described where he very much wasn't the glory hound anymore, but he was like, "Nah, I'm out. I don't want to do this." And that last moment about connection was very sweet. Um, yeah, love to call back to the Starflies. Yeah, just great game. I always love playing with all y'all. I think everybody did great, even when they weren't in scenes. Like just watching or building onto what they were hearing and catching on anyway. And I hope I get to play like a really long version of this game once, because I think that's also gives it more breathing room and makes people feel less like we need to get all the drama and the trauma and the relationships. Like I feel like that would make like the training bit like a bit more lighthearted. People are like, we have some time. We don't need to be confronting everything all the time. Um, but I also really like this high-paced version. I love how everybody like how most of us were going in there with like, "I'm gonna die. I don't care if I match or not." That's it. I'm gonna die. Love that for all of us.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, wow, what a crazy end to this journey. Stars to like starting the story in one place where it's like high pulp, high fantasy, adventure, neo noir. Oh, these people are sexy, and how are they all going to bounce off each other? Session 4, we're all barely clinging to life. Just absolute balls of trauma and misery, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love playing games with you guys for that reason. No. Um, yeah, I definitely agree with the star slash wish of like this does make me want to see like a 6 session version of this game, because like getting to the final session to be like, oh, we've never really actually seen a good long harmony Mori scene. And part of that I feel like is because if we did, they just help each other, and that's we can't have that. It's not allowed. We know better than that. Um so yeah, it's again, I think we made a lot of the right choices narratively, but yeah, it'd be fun to have a little longer to breathe and let the drama continue. Because yeah, it's also like I think Jazy, you mentioned that like we didn't make any friends. It's we barely even talked about the other crew. They were just kind of like operated red shirts in the backdrop and background. And so yeah, I definitely think next time I play this, I'm gonna make a focus on like I think we still had some like good world development, but it was all about the enemy. This was a very enemy focused game, so I'm curious what other enemy types would be like, and yeah, really like fleshing out like what are the crazy worlds that we go to. Be fun. um Elle, Max, I did not see like the enemy wiring thing going on, but thanks for working with me. So especially once we knew you can't, there's no way you could have put the two of them in the same situation, not expect a heroic sacrifice on a miss by 6. You could not have not seen that coming. But I'm glad you wrote it out with me. Um, one of us definitely was probably going to die there. So I don't know, maybe draw better cards next time. No, but it was a really fantastic. I loved playing out that moment with you and having that chance to build on everything that we had been building on with those two characters. Um, and Mads, of course, thanks for facilitating. Of course, big star for that. But also seeing Captain Tal Kai's growth, and just like the last little moments of like really just seeing like Tal Kai and Max together. That whole last scene was very heartbreaking. Um, and yeah, I just really like the conclusion of his story. So um, yeah, I'll go ahead and turn it over now. That's me, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to add that hasn't already been mentioned. I'm so sad. This was such a sad ending. Um, in a way that's like wonderful, and I should have expected, I guess. But I'm also really glad that we were able to find a time to make up the session because I felt really satisfied with the Harmony Mori interactions that we got, and I was super looking forward to that. And I think they really delivered on the drama in a very I think there's like a really remarkable subtlety to the way Kevin and Jazy navigated that relationship throughout the series. And I think we maintained that in this session, even as we sort of um like built it to a satisfying climax for me. Um Kevin, I'm so mad at you for Harmony's sacrifice. Like it was narratively perfect, but still I will never forgive you. I will have to do something uh equally devastating to you in another game. So I will be plotting. But yeah, for Mad seeing Talkai's growth was really really fun to watch, like the contrast between him in those final scenes and like the Talkai we got to know in the first session. It's like very recognizable as the same character, but like man, he went through it. And Jazy, I really loved how you finished off the storyline with Mori and Abby. 'Cause like I said before, that I think that's um the like emotional core of our whole conflict with the progenitors was in that one relationship, and you handled that really deftly. So, um, yeah, I'm mad and sad and very happy that this all turned out so well.
Yeah, I mean, and I know from the previous playthrough that like 5 was just enough, just enough. So 6 would definitely give lots of breathing room, and as you say, Elle, and like the tension, the argument, and the makeup, and then like like go on from there, and definitely give more room for loyalty draw to give better chances for good match, like, and then like, like maybe more happy endings, who knows? So, I mean, it's all chance, right? So, but again, because you have the extended game, which includes the bigger, like 2 decks, you just have more chances for more red. So, it is what it is, right? But yeah, this was a fantastic series. I mean, can I post it? I mean, if I can, great. If I can't, I mean, I'm okay with that too. I mean, this was just such an engaging and such a rich game of emotion, and I'm here for it. I mean, granted, I mean, again, I feel like my heart is torn in two, but that's what I'm here for. This game is all about this. It's like it's all about, you know, asking these questions, feeling these characters, and then seeing them go through the paces. Damn. So, like, let me know. Let me know if I can, because damn, I want this. I mean, and the world building. I mean, I must say, like on the surface level, I mean, like just the world building alone was just phenomenal. I mean, like, like listening to how the enemy got stronger, and then like, to all the different pieces for how the um just tech, the sci-fi aspects of, my God.
Yeah, I really liked when I've played this game. I think people have a tendency, and I'm not saying that's wrong or bad or anything, but people have a tendency to, every time when the enemy grows stronger, to like pull in something new
Hmm.
and to like add. And I think
Hmm.
we did a great job at like making things progressively worse. Like
Yes.
both adding like
Yes.
something new, and also like the whole Lumina thing like
Right.
just got progressively worse and worse, rather than just being like, oh, there's the city and there's this and
Yeah.
there's this and there's this and there's this, which like can be very fun. But for this, it felt like really also like with AV, like, oh,
Right.
he's contacting us, he's
Yes.
talking to us,
Yes.
he's going like full evil
Hmm.
mastermind
Hmm.
now. He's
Hmm. And
like
then,
it felt very fun to sort of progress that, rather than just keeping like
yeah,
bringing in
and like can
people.
continual callbacks and stuff like that, and then just kind of going back, and then like, seeing how like there's reversal, and then like, oh my God, it's like tripped up again, and then like back again, and like it's improved. So, granted, I mean, like, like Tal Kai's shooting up the place, but I mean, like, there was an improved situation. Although he had to find out later that it's like, I don't know about this. This doesn't look so good. But yeah, I mean, like, again, the world building was fantastic. I mean, like, the building on the enemy was great. And yes, I mean, like, I did pull that NPC out of my butt, but I mean, like, I love training montages. I mean, like, I'm gonna have like, people off to the side, like, helping out and stuff. So it's great. Anyway, yeah, so let me know if I can post this, and yeah, God help us. I would love to be in other games with you guys. I mean, like, tons of fun always, but at a more respectful time, hopefully, for Jazy. So she's not like drunk off of no sleep.
What do you mean? It's 4:40 in the morning. I can keep going.
Right, right. Okay, you get some sleep, dear, and I'm gonna go get some hugs because I've been ordered
Please
to.
do.
Yeah.
Please do.
And yeah, you guys have a wonderful evening. Happy gaming, and I will see you hopefully very soon for something else. Okay?
You all
Thank
around.
you.
Thank you for
Bye.
playing.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.